News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Missoula police still looking for a hit-and-run driver. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. Congratulations, you made it. It's Friday, June the 12th. 2015, a gorgeous day, spectacular right now, 54 and sunny in Missoula. Our newscast sponsored by Dr. Troy Doxey and the friendly team at Chiropractic Works, where they're dedicated to chiropractic solutions. Call 728-0222. Police in Missoula still searching for the driver of a small gray vehicle that hit an 8-year-old boy while he was riding his bicycle. NBC Montana reports the victim was struck at the corner of South 4th West and Ivy Streets by a gray passenger car. The vehicle left the scene heading westbound on 4th. Officials said the victim did not appear to have life-threatening injuries. Law enforcement is currently investigating the hit and run. Anyone with information has to call Crime Stoppers at 721-4444. And another bicyclist is recovering from a broken arm after colliding with a mother moose. The Bozeman Daily Chronicle reports Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks spokeswoman Andrea Jones says signage has been posted warning people about the moose, but she's likely moved on now. The moose and 30-year-old Brian Stedham collided helmet to nose Sunday night after Stedham says he came around a corner on the Bozeman Creek Trail and ran right into the animal with her calf. Stedham says he fell, he took a kick to the hip, and then got back on his bike and fled. An X-ray taken at the hospital shows the ulna bone in his forearm snapped in half. Stedham says he feels lucky to be alive. There was some startling news last week. When information was published on healthcare.gov, the companies were asking for double-digit increases in the cost of some individual health insurance plan. Montana Insurance Commissioner's Office, a public information officer, Jennifer McKee, says the information won't mean much to the average consumer, though.
Montana law differs from federal law. We are actually not allowed to talk about the rate review process while it's ongoing, and it is ongoing. The averages that were posted to the federal website are not weighted by plan. The averages don't get into the level of detail about proposed price increases in the individual plan.
In other words, those increases, they could be small and spread out across many plans, or they could be large, focused on just a few. But at this point, Montanans are in the dark.
I certainly understand why people are paying attention to it, but it doesn't really tell you, as a Montanan who's going to be buying health insurance next year, what you're really going to end up paying. If there was a product that didn't have an average rate increase above 10%, it just didn't have to be filed. So if you don't see it filed, you can infer that there weren't a request for that.
McKee says the rate review process should wrap up by August unless an extension is filed. She says that the approved rates will be published as soon as they're finalized. A former Livingston and Billings West high school teacher and basketball coach accused of sexually exploiting children and distributing child pornography is set to appear in court for a change of plea hearing. Scott James Nichols pleaded not guilty in August to a 23-count indictment. The Billings Gazette reports he's scheduled to appear in court again on June 24th. Missoula County Public Schools officially closed their doors for summer break yesterday, but according to MCPS Director of Technology and Communications, Hatton Littman, Big Sky High School will be a busy place on Monday with lots of sirens and police cars.
Monday, June 15th, we will be doing an active shooter drill at Big Sky High School, and that's a day when no students will be in or around the building. There will be police cars, fire trucks, ambulances outside of the school as part of the drill, and it is a training exercise. The
exercise will involve over 50 volunteers in a scenario in which an active shooter attempts to attack Big Sky High with the intent of killing a maximum number of people.
Law enforcement in the area have essentially coordinated this drill, and they have taken every safety precaution. We have volunteers in place who will pretend to be injured individuals, and law enforcement will be practicing how to get to the threat and eliminate the threat and do any follow-up necessary.
It's the first interagency training of its kind for Missoula first responders. It's been in the planning stages for over a year. Missoula Police, Sheriff's Department, local and rural fire departments, and Missoula Emergency Services will all be participating in that training. The Montana Supreme Court says a former disaster and emergency services spokeswoman waited too long to sue over claims that her job was eliminated because she spoke against sexual favoritism at work. Monique Lay was fired in 2012 at a DES restructuring. She filed complaints with the state and then in district court, alleging the termination was actually in retaliation for objecting to another DES employee receiving special treatment because she was having sex with the chief of staff. Lay claimed her lawsuit was about violations of her constitutional right to due process. However, the Supreme Court disagreed, ruling the case boiled down to allegations of retaliation and unlawful discrimination, which comes under the Montana Human Rights Act. And Lay did not file her claim within the 90 days required. Concerns over a national policy that would have restricted the ability of a veteran's family to have a graveside service have reached the ear of Montana Governor Steve Bullock. Spokesman Dave Parker explains.
There has been a national policy created by the National Cemeteries Administration, and their guidance was that families were not allowed to be graveside during the burial process except under exceptional circumstances.
That order was reversed with a directive from Governor Bullock yesterday.
What Governor Bullock did today was to direct the Montana Veteran Affairs Division to allow any military family that requests to be graveside during the burial to allow them to do that.
According to Parker, there have not yet been any Montana families who have been denied being able to hold a graveside service. After Bullock's directive, though, the state veteran cemeteries of Missoula, Helena, and Miles City will allow graveside services. Yesterday at about 10 a.m., a mother and her 2 children from Bakersfield, California were recognized as representatives of the 100 millionth visitor to Glacier National Park. Spokeswoman Denise Germain has more.
I think they were very surprised as they came in the entrance station and rangers said, "Hey, you guys are a big winner today," type of thing. And we took them to the Apgar Visitor Center. We presented them with an assortment of gifts and gift certificates that were donated by our official partners and our concessioners. We had cake, a little celebration, and then we gave them a picnic lunch and put them on a red bus, and they headed up to Logan Pass for the afternoon.
Germain says all records aside, Glacier is more importantly celebrating and engaging the next generation.
What's really cool about it is the 2 kids, both Pierce and Gretchen, they represent the future. You know, they represent the future of the Park Service and of Glacier National Park, you know, the future stewards. I think for many of us, summer's here when you've got access up to Logan Pass, and again, it's a different world up there. It's winter up there, so please be prepared and drive carefully.
Newstalk Times 7:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Plenty of sunshine today and comfortable with their highs in the mid-70s. Winds will be breezy out of the west at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Wind gusts as high as 30 are expected. Saturday, ample sunshine, highs in the low 70s. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13.